feel like I'm really shiny.
You look like the Undertaker when he had that white mask.
Which just shows how puffy my cheeks are getting at my age.
My name is Shannon Reed. I've been a wrestling fan since the mid-1980s. I consider myself a casual historian. I'm also a professional wrestler. This podcast is dedicated to wrestling's glory days. I'm talking about the NWA, Mid-South Wrestling, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and more. Maybe you want to get extreme with ECW. Well, you can do it all right here on this podcast because we're going to have something for everybody. And yeah, we'll talk about modern wrestling as well. So tune in right here on Read This with Shannon Reed.
All right, everybody, welcome to part 2 of the Gimmick Challenge, the 16 gimmick tournament to determine the worst gimmick in WCW or WWFE history. We have narrowed it down now to the worst 8 gimmicks, and we're going to have a winner tonight. With me as well tonight are the same crew from before. We got Tyler Sidwell. We got Jason Lee, formerly known as Ray Gamma, as well as Julius Cairo. And we are going to help decide this right here tonight. And we got one special edition that was kind of a late last-minute edition. After the final winner is announced, there is an opportunity for a steal with a gimmick in the bank run-in. And if that comes to fruition, you'll see it play out right here tonight. But you guys ready to get this tournament underway?
Yeah,
ready. Let's go.
All right. So we've already eliminated a bunch of gimmicks that didn't quite cut the mustard, so to speak. We're down to the worst 8. So the first quarterfinal matchup, we have the Ding Dongs squaring off against the Gobbledygooker. Tyler?
This is a tough one, man. It's like the Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan of bad gimmicks almost. But in this situation, I'm still kind of playing like, was the Gobbledygooker really supposed to be a long-term plan, or was it just because, it's Thanksgiving, it's a turkey, come out, do some craziness? In this one, I got to pick the Ding Dongs. It was never going to succeed. There was nothing it could have done. Not that the Gobbledygooker was going to succeed, but I think it was supposed to be a mascot for the show. I don't know if there was ever really a long-term plan for it. I mean, that clown thought the Ding Dongs were going to get over and were going to be something. So, can you honestly hear, and the heel team of War Games is Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Ding and Dong.
No, wait a minute. I take issue with that because last time I brought up how I couldn't stand Doink and Dink and Dunk and all of these guys, and you guys gave me shit about it. But now you're going to talk shit about Ding and Dong, who have roughly the same names?
Oh, no, not because they're names. I'm just saying just because they're the Ding Dongs. That's their actual name.
So you can tell me if there was a War Games and they said Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Dink, and Dunk, that would be different.
No, it'd be the same. That'd be terrible too. I'm just saying, like Doink was never gonna be anything, but at least when Doink was a heel, he was fun. He could be creepy. He at least had that factor. Matt Bourne played it really well to where the whole laughing and then all of a sudden going to the sinister look and stuff. He did it. These guys we already made the wish jokes, but it's like your mom can make the McDonald's at home version of the Conquistadors.
Right.
So there was no hope for that because I think the difference is there was no hope for the Gobbledygooker, but there wasn't supposed to be hope for the Gobbledygooker. Jim Herd genuinely thought the Ding Dongs were going to be something, and that's why I thought you were never going to see the Ding Dongs going up against the Road Warriors for the tag titles or anything like that. So I got to go with the Ding Dongs.
All right, one vote for the Ding Dongs. And now we'll go to another Ding Dong. Jason?
Nice. So yeah, Tyler, you know what? Tyler almost convinced me to pick the Ding Dongs there. I almost switched my vote over that because of his description and everything. It's like he makes a good point, but I'm still picking the Gooker. The Gooker was just maybe it's because I grew up with WWF. I remember even as a kid, I thought it was like the dumbest thing ever. And I didn't really know anything about the Ding Dongs, when it happened, up until, recently, So I'm gonna have to pick the Gooker. I'll just pick the Gooker there.
All right, we got a split vote so far. Cairo?
I'm gonna go with the Ding Dongs, and the reason why I'm gonna go with the Ding Dongs is because the gobbledygooker that gimmick did exactly what it was supposed to do. I mean, it wasn't going to go any further than that. Because what do you do with a turkey after Thanksgiving if that's your gimmick?
You cook it.
Hopefully it's cooked before Thanksgiving. Nobody trying to eat a raw turkey. I mean, I think everybody likes their turkey well done, but the Ding Dongs it was never gonna go anywhere. And Tyler, to what you had said earlier, if the Ding Dongs had to wrestle the Road Warriors, that would have been the worst squash match in history because those suits probably would have been red and brown from defecation and bleeding. So yeah, I gotta go with the Ding Dongs, man. It was terrible.
All right. So luckily we're not going to have a tie in the opener this time because I too am going to vote for the Ding Dongs. Reason being is that the gobbledygooker was a one and done. Even if it was a bad idea, even though I liked it when I was a kid, it was a one and done. Came out of an egg. Now, if the gobbledygooker had wrestled, then I would have voted for the Gooker. It would have been worse for sure. But the Ding Dongs actually had tag team matches. And again, they really weren't bad wrestlers if you watch them. Like they were just kind of okay guys, prelim guys under masks. But the gimmick sucked, and it didn't get over, and it lasted longer than the Gooker. And because of the fact that they actually wrestled, I'm going to give it to the Ding Dongs. So we had the Ding Dongs moving on to the semifinals. All right, so we're ready for the next matchup in the quarterfinals. It'll be the Goon squaring off against the Red Rooster. Tyler?
I gotta go with the Rooster on this one. It's so hard to it's going to be hard for the Rooster to get defeated here. Again, the Goon, everybody had an occupation. We said in the last one it was never going to so he went against Beaver Cleavage last time, right?
Yeah.
I think the reason Beaver Cleavage doesn't move on in that one, like I said, is because was it always supposed to be a character that was going to break kayfabe, or anything like that? But with the Rooster, I mean, like I said, it ruined his whole career. He was destroyed after that and never recovered. And and the other thing was and when they tried to even turn him face and try to make something out of him, they did it by jobbing him out to Tito Santana, who's an amazing wrestler and one of the greats, which I never understood why they did this to him. But Tito was the highest level jobber. They'd put Tito against all the guys they wanted to make into monsters, like the Barbarian, the Warlord, guys like that. They would beat Tito. Always had a match on a pay-per-view, but he always lost. It didn't make any sense. But the Rooster lost to Tito, and it was Saturday Night Main Event, and then he turns around and beats up Bobby Heenan for it. So, and it's he just lost to the guy that loses to everybody. I mean, it would be worse if he lost to Jim Powers. I mean, I mean, so it was kind of and we're supposed to believe now that he's going to go be credible. It's even as a kid, I was nah. He really thinks he's a Rooster now. That's how you're going to make him face. You're going to, because you notice his hair didn't go red until he became face. It's that just makes me hate him more. So, And like I said, the promo that he cut at WrestleMania 5 when he said it's going to be a great day in the barnyard when everybody's crowing and stuff like that, I'm like, whatever, dude, you're awful. Not his fault, but
plus they feuded. If you remember, they feuded him with the Brooklyn Brawler too, and that's a hell of a start.
Yeah, I mean the Brooklyn Brawler debuted the probably next to Barry Horowitz, the second biggest jobber of all time. The Brooklyn Brawler debuts by beating the crap out of the Red Rooster. And it's like, now granted, we didn't know that's how bad Brawler was going to be, but at the same time, it's like, they had the whole Heenan family. Why not have Rick Rude come out and kick the shit out of him or something like that? You know, like anybody like that. That would have, Terry Taylor versus Rick Rude would have been a good wrestling match. But, and quit calling him the freaking Red Rooster, maybe. No, but so, he sucks, so therefore he wins. So.
All right, one vote for the Red Rooster. Jason?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Red Rooster as well, because it's. I mean, they put a terrible gimmick on a really good wrestler. It's like, why would you do that? The goon was, that's just a dumb gimmick. It's a dumb gimmick on a guy who nobody knew about, and everybody had jobs and stuff, and so the putting a hockey player in the wrestling ring was kind of dumb too. But I have something against. Well, okay, I don't want to say I have something against, but I think it's silly to put dumb gimmicks that that are. They had to know that it was a dumb gimmick on a legit good wrestler. To me that just seems kind of ridiculous. But yeah, it's just, so. Anyways, I'm gonna go with the Red Rooster as well.
All right, 2 votes for the Red Rooster. Cairo?
Before I say it, I'm gonna start off by saying this. I think the Red Rooster. This is gonna be controversial. I think the Red Rooster could have worked had it gone to the right wrestler. And I say that because you can get a gimmick over if you have the personality to do it. And Terry Taylor wasn't exactly known for his personality in the ring. So even though he was a great wrestler, he wasn't the most charismatic guy in the world. And the Red Rooster gimmick could have gotten over had it gone to a charismatic type of person. It probably would have been personified differently than what we saw from Terry Taylor. That being said, I'm going to go with the Goon because I just hate that gimmick. A hockey player is going to get in a wrestling ring and kick somebody's ass. No, he ain't even got a hockey stick. Nope. Nope. There's no way I can. I just hate that. I hate that gimmick with a passion. Like I hated it when I was a kid. I hate it now. I will never like that gimmick because it was so bad. It was so
all right.
Bad. I have a quick question then. Can you imagine the Macho Rooster, Randy Savage, where it says instead of saying the cream of the crop, he goes the cock of the walk.
Which was the Rooster? That was the name of the Rooster's finishing move.
The cock of the walk.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jason, for joining us. Hope you have a good evening.
I really do. You know what? As crazy as it sounds, I think Savage could have made it work because Savage was charismatic enough to figure out a way to make that work. Because you think about bad gimmicks, and Dusty had. I go to Dusty Rhodes because I love Dusty Rhodes. When he got to WWF with Vince, he was well past his prime, and they put him in polka dots, but he still got over.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the person. And I think maybe they could have, like, for instance, if the IRS gimmick had gone to Terry Taylor, we'd probably be having a different discussion because that kind of fits him. He just kind of comes off as like this straight-laced kind of dude. So him being charismatic and cocky just isn't Terry Taylor. So
I like that. I like Terry Taylor's IRS. Like I do think that's something that could have worked.
Yeah, because when he was in WCW,
apparently Jason doesn't. He got pissed off.
Jason's had enough of this shit.
What?
WCW.
Shannon said he likes Terry Taylor as IRS right as you were getting up. I was like, apparently Jason doesn't. That really pissed him.
Screw that.
remember when they had the York Foundation in WCW, and
That's what it was called. Yes.
He was Terrence Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
He actually like kind of picked himself back up after with that because that fit him better. You could see it fit him better. So if he had something like an IRS gimmick or like a stiff neck, like I'm better than everybody here type of gimmick.
I think based on his physical size, he would have been a good tag team with the Genius.
Yeah,
like,
even something like
physically
that.
built.
Like,
or like you said, like a business partner of the $1 Million Man.
Yeah, or could you imagine him as like let's see, I just had it in my head and I lost it. Something like just like a straight laced type of gimmick. Like I think he could have done that better. That gimmick just didn't fit him, so it may not have necessarily been a bad gimmick. It was just bad in how it was portrayed because it didn't fit the guy that it was given to.
Like so straight laced, we're talking Stone Cold Terry Taylor.
No, not like crazy straight laced, but like very like conservative and calculated. Like that would have fit him. I think it would have fit him better to a T because he was a scientific wrestler, and scientific wrestling wasn't really prevalent at the time. Because it was getting more into like a brawling, high flyers, all that kind of stuff was coming in. Now I think Brett kind of revived it, Brett and a few others, but technical wrestling just wasn't as prevalent amongst the fans, you know, the crowd, the masses as it once was. So I think Terry Taylor and WWF with a different gimmick, more straight laced, he would have gotten over, and it would have been a better experience for him. But the Goon, nobody's making that work. I don't care who you are. That's just a terrible gimmick. That's just terrible.
I really do like the Terry Taylor's IRS thing because when I think of Taylor in the WWF, it never worked. You know, he came back in like '92 as terrific Terry Taylor, straight laced Terry Taylor, you know, and he was a opening match guy. They had him. He would beat Jim Powers, but he would lose to Virgil. It just seemed like they'd never utilized him properly, and he was a much better fit for WCW, and he just would kind of bounce back and forth. And I do think that the opportunity was there. I think he could have pulled off IRS for sure because he was so good in the York Foundation as Terrence Taylor. I used to have a York Foundation t-shirt. I don't think he was ever any better in the ring than he was during that point. He was really sharp, and even in WCW, he was underutilized. But yeah, he didn't really fit into cartoon land, in the land of the giants at that time.
Yeah, and if you haven't had a chance to check them out, because I remember these from when I was a kid, you get a chance to watch some WCW matches with Terry Taylor. Watch him and Brad Armstrong. Those are some great matches. And just the way they ended, like nobody, I mean, people were, the way, the creativity and how the match would go, nobody else was doing that stuff. Like Terry Taylor would get Brad Armstrong disqualified. I distinctly remember this. Bill Watts had a rule where if you threw somebody over the top rope, they would get disqualified. I think he brought that up from UWF. And Terry Taylor was like getting his ass handed to him. So he went over to the ropes and lured Brad Armstrong over there, and he threw a haymaker, and Armstrong ducked, and he made it look like Armstrong threw him over the top rope. So it got Brad Armstrong disqualified. Like, who does that kind of stuff? That's a Terry Taylor thing. Nobody else did that kind of stuff. It was very creative. Nobody was, you know, there was no big ending. It was just, he found, it was a creative way to get a win. And you don't see that nowadays. So, all right. I went kind of long. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. We don't want it to be boring where we're just talking about who wins this match. And so it's good to have these kind of side stories. So we got 2 votes for the Rooster and 1 vote for the Goon. I'm going to vote for the Red Rooster in this one. My reasoning is, so the Goon, first of all, I want to say that this very easily could have been the finals for me. I feel like the Goon should have went further in this tournament, but unfortunately he had the unenviable task of going up against the Red Rooster. the problem with the Goon, and it's kind of similar to the Red Rooster in that it's you take a talented wrestler, give him a crappy gimmick. Only in this case, the guy can't really do anything because of his gear. It was short-lived. It didn't get over, and it was just really bad. But again, the problem with the Red Rooster is it totally devalued Terry Taylor. It's going to be really hard for anybody to beat the Red Rooster in this tournament, and we'll see what happens as things progress. But as much as I want to see the Goon go further because of how bad it was, I got to pick the Red Rooster, and that also means the Red Rooster will move on to the semifinals. All right, so the next matchup in the quarterfinals is going to be Mantar against who? Tyler?
I mean, Mantar, was a gimmick that I think could have worked with the right person. Like I said last, his downfall as to why I moved him on last time is going to be the same reason why I probably hold him back. Well, one of the reasons why I can't pick him to go forward this time. And that's it for the time period, like I said, it was cartoony. So, I mean, him to be a monster kind of thing, the half man, half beast sort of deal. He was just too small. He wasn't big enough. Like, he wasn't tall enough is what I mean. So that on a guy the size of, like we talked about, like a Vader or somebody like that, that works. But who, like I said, we didn't even have the internet to look up spoilers or anything, and we all knew it was Jim Neidhart, So, I mean, didn't understand taking a guy who was as agile and as able to move around as Jim Neidhart was. And he was winding down. He wasn't the Jim Neidhart of 1988 or anything like that. But, he could still, he had the emotion. He was a great character, and everything. So, let him get in there and be a beast, or turn him back heel. Let him be a mean, vicious heel. Like, he was great for that. So I got to pick who. It was a waste of, it was a pointless gimmick that I don't really know if anybody could have got over, but especially on an already established wrestler that, like, just from a physical standpoint, everybody could tell who it was. So.
All right. So we got to vote for who. Jason?
A vote for who?
Exactly. Yes. Let's not start with this joke.
I couldn't.
This will go on forever. Which was the point of that gimmick.
Well,
so let me go back to the first round and say that I voted for Beaver Cleavage because I liked Mosh and they put a terrible gimmick on Mosh. I voted for Red Rooster, I think, both times because they put a terrible gimmick on a good wrestler. I'm going to switch it up here, though, because normally I love Jim Neidhart. I told you before that a lot of my character when I was wrestling, I took a little bit from Jim Neidhart and everything, and they put a hood on him, which and it was all based around that one joke, which it's dumb, it's terrible, it's a bad gimmick, but I can't get over that Mantar mask. I still can't. It's like that's what made him look bigger than what he was. That Mantar mask was it was huge. It was just like up here, and then when he took it off, it's like, oh, he's just a normal fat guy, that's why he looked like he like normal height, like 6 foot tall or whatever. But when he had that Mantar mask on, he looked like he was like 6'8". That thing was huge, and I still can't get over it. And so I'm gonna go with Mantar.
He was just like Cairo. His height changed depending on what convenience store he walked into.
Exactly. So I'm picking Mantar because I can't go over that mask. That was just a terrible mask for wrestling. I mean, it would have been a great mask for something like the Ren Fair, But for pro wrestling, it's terrible.
Exactly. All right, split vote so far. Cairo?
All right. I gotta say this. I'm gonna leave who alone because it was proven by a previous wrestler that a character with a guy with a similar gimmick got it over. Josephus got over the question mark. That gimmick was over.
Yeah.
You got a point there.
We all knew it was Josephus. We knew who it was, but he got it over with that whole Kirate thing. He got it over. So I think I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be controversial, and no hate towards Jim Neidhart, but Jim Neidhart always kind of needed somebody to kind of help him get over. For instance, him and Brett, even though Brett has said Jim helped him out in the beginning, who became the bigger star? When Brett went to WCW,
Who didn't become a big star?
huh?
Who didn't become a big star?
No, who didn't? But Neidhart, hear me out.
Sorry, just playing on a joke.
Yeah, I know. So, I feel. Hear me out though. Like Neidhart was a good wrestler, but when him and Brett got together as the Hart Foundation, they got over. But then when Jim got hurt or whatever the situation was, and Brett had to go solo or Brett wanted to go solo, Brett became a larger star while Jim was still kind of even though he was great in the ring and he's a great, at what he was, Jim wasn't going to get any gimmick over. He was going to be that mid-card guy. And there's nothing wrong with being a mid-card guy. But when you think of mid-card guys, like Jim Neidhart probably isn't the first guy to come to your mind. I'm just being honest. So with that being said, since I watch, if you watch NWA Power, that gimmick had gotten over. So it was the guy with the gimmick. You just have to figure out how to make the gimmick work. Same thing I said with Terry Taylor. The gimmick, he couldn't figure out how to get the gimmick over. So I have to go with Mantar because I don't remember ever seeing the cameras watch him get in the ring, number one. Like they'd always cut away because he had to figure out how to get in the ring.
I never thought of that.
I don't think they ever showed it. Like when Nash walked out to the ring, Diesel, whatever, they would make sure you saw him step over the rope. When Andre came to the ring, they make sure you saw him get in the ring. When Savage got in the ring, Savage had a unique way of getting in the ring. But with Mantar, they're like, let's look at the crowd or look at his opponent. They never showed him getting in the ring. And they put the mask off.
I never noticed that.
It's probably all awkward.
It had to be because when he tilted forward, like that's what
the ref probably had to help pull the ropes up or something.
Yeah, like I think even with DiBiase, like he had Virgil hold the ropes. Hold those ropes for me while I get in the ring, or made the ref do it or whatever. Everybody had a unique way of getting in the ring, but they never showed. I mean, sometimes I'll say it like this. Some of the Ultimate Warrior's best moments were his entrance. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the matches.
Some?
Him and Hogan was good, but that was because of Patterson he produced the match. But I'm saying, like, the best part of most of his matches was the entrance. It was all that energy.
Just all that energy, running, shaking the ropes.
Yeah. What is Mantar gonna do? Stand at the entrance and like scrape his foot on the ground and move? Like what?
That's what he did. That's what he did in the ring. He got in there and he acted like he was going to bulldoze his opponent.
Yeah, it's so stupid. So I got to go with Mantar. I can't pull off Mantar, and I'm big as hell. and I ain't wearing that damn moose head.
So we got 2 votes for Mantar and 1 vote for who, correct?
Yes.
All right. So I did want to touch on something that you said, Julius. So the question mark got over for sure. I didn't see it coming, and he got it over, and those NWA Power fans, gave him really big reactions. The one thing I'll disagree with is I don't think who was meant to get over. Like whenever they showed him, he traditionally didn't get an entrance. He was just standing there in the ring, no promos, no real chance to connect. And I think because it was Jim Neidhart, he tried to be as un-Jim Neidhart as possible. And so he wasn't doing any like really charismatic mannerisms or anything like that. And I think he was just so one-dimensional that Maybe he could have done something with it if they wanted him to, but I think in this case, it was what it was meant to be, and he wasn't meant to get over. And I don't think it was one of those cases where he could have gotten over even if he wanted to, because he was clearly just there as a job guy to put people over with no entrances. So, so with Who versus Mantar, it's two very one-dimensional gimmicks that don't have a lot of thought to them. My vote is for Who. Which is unfortunate because that means that we're going to have more Who jokes. My main thing with Who is just I thought it was, at least Mantar was like, I don't know. I could see Mantar making the loop around the circuit, doing opening matches with like a Virgil, maybe putting Virgil over and stuff like that.
Hey,
Who was just so boring. It wasn't even like in a comedically bad way. It was just a very like thoughtless, nothing, no substance kind of way, whereas Mantar at least had some kind of humor to it in a sense. So my vote is for Who, and that means we have a tie. So which one of you guys voted for Mantar?
Oh, no, not me.
Cairo and I vote for Mantar.
Yeah, me and Jason. And
Okay.
From now on, we have to call Virgil Soul Train Jones.
Okay. So let's do Jason against Cairo to see who moves
But
ahead.
we vote for Mantar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we'll do Jason against Tyler then,
All
since you chimed in first. All right. So here's the trivia question, and we got Jason representing Mantar and Tyler representing Who. So whoever answers this question correctly after the question is completely stated is going to be the one whose man moves on. All right. Can you name one of the gimmicks used in WCW by Mike Awesome?
Fat chick killer.
All right, Tyler got it. Tyler got it, and that means that Mantar. No. Who? Is it Who?
Who moves on? Who?
Who will move on to the semifinals?
That was my college gimmick at the bars.
I was thinking that's 70, but yeah.
Yeah, those are the two gimmicks that he did. So, all right. So our final final match is going to be the Booty Man squaring off against Bastion Booger. Tyler?
This is an easy one for me because I didn't pick Booger to win in the last round. So Booger to me was supposed to be comedy, and that was it. I mean, a lot of those guys were just comedic back then. So it was a gross gimmick. It wasn't a terrible gimmick in my opinion. The Booty Man was just dumb. There was no point to it. What was he, a male stripper? What was he? We don't again, another situation where you took an already established talent who had flirted in the main event. I mean, was it because he was friends with Hogan? Maybe. I mean, but like I've said, I'll defend Brutus in the fact that I thought the barber gimmick was fun. I thought he was one of the first good guys that had a little, like I've said, the crazy eye to him, I mean, he went face to face with, like, when Hogan was standing there scared of Zeus, Brutus got in his face. And so, I mean, like, they made Brutus kind of crazy. His feud with Macho Man was pretty good. I loved it.
That's one of the reasons. That's why the barber is not in this tournament, because it got over and it was a popular gimmick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, like, when Macho Man, knocked him out and him and Sherry cut the barber's hair, like that was awesome. And then the barber came back like angry and aggressive. Like I was like, oh, I love it. He wasn't, so I didn't understand not just doing some form. I know they tried to do the butcher and all that stuff, but I don't understand the Booty Man. I don't understand making him something so outlandish when he was already known for one thing, obviously in a different organization. Due to copyright, you couldn't have made him Brutus the Barber Beefcake again. But I mean, they could have done something. But yeah, the Booty Man it's doo doo. It's booty. There we go. So Booty Man moves on in my world.
All right, one vote for the Booty Man. And now we got another infamous Booty Man. Jason?
I don't know where you come up with that. I swear. No, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go with Bastion Booger because he was just a big supposed to be gross guy, and that music, he came out to burping. It's like how that was just, it was ridiculous. I know they were probably trying to be as ridiculous as possible, but yeah, it's at least Brutus tried to make Booty Man work. I don't know. Me personally, I rank Bastion Booger as probably top 3 worst gimmicks of all time. So we'll see if he makes it to the finals here. He'd be in my finals. I mean, I'm spoiler alert in my worst gimmicks world. So I'm going Bastion Booger.
All right. So we got another split vote so far. Cairo?
This is a tough one, man. This is a real tough one. Because if I remember right, I think it was WrestleMania 4, I think. Because I think Brutus was in a tag team with Greg Valentine, and they were the Dream Team or something like that.
Yeah, they teamed up at the 86 and 87 WrestleManias.
Okay, yeah.
Or no. Valentine teamed with Bravo, I think, at WrestleMania 3.
No, Bravo was in their corner, but he was still teaming with Beefcake.
Okay, and they wrestled the Rougeos.
That was the night they split up. They split up the Dream Team with Beefcake. They left Beefcake in the ring, and then he hung out to help Piper in the next match.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Isn't that when he became the barber?
Yep, because he shaved Adrian Adonis's head. It was a hair versus hair match.
Right. So I mean, he took that. He just kind of took that. It just kind of happened. They started calling him the barber, and he took that and he ran with it, and it got over. And then all the stuff with Savage and the different stuff he had going on. He had that brute. They gave him his own segment on TV where he had the barbershop, where one of the most historic things in WWE wrestling history took place when the Rockers broke up, and how they broke up. Like, he was a part of that, and it happened in his version of Piper's Pit. And then the Booty Man. So and Bastion Booger was it was what it was supposed to be. It was just a dirty, nasty gimmick. Like Jason said, he came out to belching and stuff, and I think it did exactly what it was supposed. It was what it was supposed to be. I think the Booty Man is just a terrible gimmick because there was no rhyme or reason to it. It was just, he goes to the ring with his ass out anyway. We'll just call him the Booty Man, and there you go. We'll just put the mesh lace stuff in his tights like he normally does. Same gear. We'll just call him the Booty Man, and we'll make him dance. But there was nothing to it. Bastion Booger was exactly what it was supposed to be. So I got to go with the Booty Man.
All right.
I don't have a long explanation for Bastion Booger because it's Bastion Booger. Like,
right. So we got 2 votes for the Booty Man and 1 for Bastion Booger, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to tie it up, unfortunately. So my main reason for picking Bastion Booger to win this matchup is that when I created this tournament, Booger was an automatic in the tournament guy, and the Booty Man was just someone that I had to think about. He didn't come to mind immediately, and he was just kind of one of the guys that, oh yeah, that was pretty bad, that was pretty lame, but it was more nondescript. Like Bastion Booger was a clear, like, Looney Tune gimmick, with the burps on the entrance and the, he would eat the turkey legs and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Booty Man was more forgettable as like a bad gimmick. Like, you could have easily put other guys, I think, in place of Booty Man here, just because it was so, like, generic. And because it was so generic, I don't think that from like a creativity standpoint, it deserves to move on. I know that I said that I pushed Who forward because it was like no thought into it, but Booty Man, it just made no sense. And I'm going to have to go with Booger. So that means that we are tied. And so we're going to do a tiebreaker between Tyler and Cairo.
They both picked Booty Man.
Oh man, this is hard.
It's gonna be me and Cairo this time.
All right. Well, I want to get who. Oh yeah, it was you and Tyler last time,
Yeah,
right?
me and Tyler last time.
Okay, so we'll do Jason against Cairo to determine who moves on.
You know, I could do a question and have you versus Cairo because you don't do them.
Yeah, if you got a question, feel free. I have some pre-written down, so I.
Yeah, let me figure out. Let me look up something. Here's a question I have for Shannon, representing you're representing Bastion Booger, and
Yes.
Cairo's representing who was the other one?
Booty Man.
Booty Man. That's right. I already forgot about him.
Yeah, I think that
All
kind
right.
of answered it right there.
So with the 24/7 title, R-Truth has become the holder of the most title reigns. Okay, he's had the most title reigns in WWE.
Wow.
Who had the record before him?
Crash Holly.
No. Cairo.
I'm thinking because I literally have no idea.
Wait, Tyler gets a chance to steal it. Tyler gets a chance to steal it for his guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, Cairo gets the answer first, right?
He said he didn't know.
I have.
Oh,
no
got
idea.
nothing. God, it's one. I'm thinking one of two right now, and I'm having trouble. Is it Kofi?
Nope. It's Raven.
Really?
Raven. He had the most title reigns at officially 27. Crash Holly had 20. Crash Holly had 22 because of the Hardcore Championship with their 24 their 24/7 title, and that's where Raven won most of his. But if you ask Raven himself, he'll say 39. But right, that's what he says. I guess because of house shows or whatever. But yeah, officially WWE recognized 27 of the title reigns.
Is this like how Goldberg was 56-0 on Monday, but by the time he got to Thursday, he was 72-0?
Something like that, probably.
As soon as you said 24/7 title, I was like, oh fuck, I ain't getting this.
But yeah, I think I'm pretty sure R-Truth is in like 50 title reigns now with the 24/7 title. All right. Let me. Well, I can't ask you this other question now because it goes along with the hardcore title. Let me figure out another question.
For it.
All right. Shan, you want to go against Tyler first this time, and then give Cairo a chance to steal if neither of you can get it?
Whoever, you're making the rules. You're the question guy.
You, Cairo.
All right. So obviously, you all know for longest time, it's always been, face versus heel, good guy versus bad guy. The very first feud that was billed as face versus face, or there was a face wrestler versus face wrestler, was in 1972. Who were the two wrestlers?
Jack Briscoe and Antonio Inoki.
No.
Say Pedro Morales and Bruno Sammartino.
Tyler got it.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's
going.
it. Pedro and Bruno. That's good.
It's funny because as soon as Tyler said that, I'm like, they never fucking wrestled each other.
They did in 1972.
Wow.
One of them was Bruno. Yeah,
That's the power of the Booty Man inspired me on that one.
That was good. That was a good one.
Hey,
Yeah, so the Booty Man moves on.
Let's be glad the Booty Man never made him clap.
Oh,
All
man.
right. So we are moving on to the semifinals. All right. So we got the Ding Dongs going up against the Red Rooster.
Oh man.
Semifinals. Winner goes to the finals. Tyler?
So we never got to see Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali, but this has got to be the closest to it. This is the Peyton Manning versus Patrick Mahomes right here. The Ding Dongs and the Red Rooster. And this one, this is a tough one, but I got to go with the Rooster just because the effort that was put into it. Like, the Ding Dongs were pretty quick and out. They were like, okay, this sucks. This was a stupid idea. We shouldn't have done that. And it was fairly quick. I mean, the Rooster, they really tried that for like a couple years he was around. It just, once again, we've talked about how good technical wrestler, career never recovered, because how are you going to care about him after that? Like, you were livestock. Like, yeah, I tried to come up with something funny. I got nothing. So we're just going to say the Red Rooster, he sucks. And he can move on.
All right. One vote for the Rooster. Jason?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Red Rooster as well. That's imagine being a wrestler like Terry Taylor, and then your legacy is being the Red Rooster. That's I have to go with the Rooster.
All right, Cairo.
Man, that's my 2-year-old in the background. In case anyone was wondering, she wants to be with her dad. But she got in on the last show. She ain't getting in on this one. You can watch what's that show? Word Party. I'll turn it on in there for my phone. She'll be fine. She's with her mother, so I'm not like leaving her by herself.
Yeah, the reason you have the green screen on, she's just been in for herself, isn't she?
Yeah. So
I left bread and meat on the floor. She should figure out a sandwich.
She's in the front with her mom. So yeah. Reason I got the green screen up because this room is like got all her stuff in it, and this is supposed to be the office, but it's turned into her storage area. So, anyway, I have to go with the Red Rooster, man. I have to, because the Ding Dongs. I mean, everybody. Nobody says the Ding Dongs could have been the greatest tag team of all time. Like, nobody says that, because everybody believes that it sucks. But the Red Rooster was it was a bad gimmick given to a good wrestler. And again, if it had been given to someone else with that charisma, it would have gotten over. But it was given to Terry Taylor, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. So I have to go with the Red Rooster on this one. Even though I love Terry Taylor, I have to go with the Red Rooster on this one.
I'm sorry to interject real quick, but that's the second time you said that, and I got to ask, who in the hell would have gotten that over? Like, George the Animal Steel, because he was hairy enough to believe he had feathers. Like,
sorry, who is in the next round?
Dude, I'm telling you, if that had been given to the right wrestler,
we're not selling those jokes anymore.
If that gimmick had been given to the right wrestler with enough charisma to get it over, that had the creativity and the charisma to get it over, it would have gotten over. Now, they probably wouldn't have gone as far as to do the red hair and the spike and all that stuff, but they would have gotten it over.
I think in the Attitude Era, a guy like the Blue Meanie, like someone his size and shape, because I mean, he kind of looks like a rooster or a hen. So I mean, like, because they could have made a lot of cock jokes. Sorry, I hope this isn't PG.
Yeah. Hey, Tyler, don't let cock come out of your mouth anymore, okay?
I'll try my best.
You know what?
I'll try my best to hold it in.
I don't know if that went over everybody's head, what I just said.
Yeah.
No, I'll try my best to hold it in my mouth from now on.
Yeah, I got to go with the Red Rooster just because it was a bad gimmick given to a great wrestler, but not the most charismatic wrestler, and it just wasn't going to work. They even put the IC title on him, and it still didn't help.
Okay, you've said that twice now. Now, Red Rooster never held the IC title.
He didn't?
He never held it in WWF.
I thought he had the IC title.
No, I just let it go last time, but now you've said it twice. So.
Okay, well, anyway, either way. So I stand corrected. Okay, so he didn't have the IC title. Fuck it.
That makes it even worse now.
I think they missed a golden opportunity to bring the Red Rooster back at Thanksgiving in 1990, later that year, and have him be in the egg.
Right. Maybe now that I think about it, was he the Intercontinental Champion?
That was. I've been trying to find something that was good.
I'm going with Red Rooster. We going down a downward spiral. I'm going with it.
All right, I'm done.
That's the second time he's got him walked off.
Too much cock talk. Jason's getting bothered. He's got to get out for a minute.
Shannon, it's on you, man.
Yeah, he said there's too much cock in here. Time to sit down.
Oh man. Jeez.
All right. Well, we're going to have a unanimous vote on this one. The Red Rooster defeats the Ding Dong simply because more crimes were committed, because they took a great wrestler, gave him this horrid gimmick that ruined his career. Red Rooster goes to the finals. All right. So our next semifinal match is going to be who against the Booty Man? Tyler?
Kind of a tough one, although I'm already kind of predetermined on who was going to the finals on that side of the bracket. No pun intended. But because this would have been actually probably a decent feud in the late 80s, early 90s. Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Like, that could have actually been decent. I mean,
that would have been fun to watch.
Mr. Perfect versus Bret Hart or anything like that. But I mean, that would have been a good one. But I just have to go with the Booty Man. He was just because Brutus Beefcake was ahead of Jim Neidhart. It was, once again, like we said, I'm going to kind of steal your last answer and say more crimes were committed against Brutus Beefcake than Jim Neidhart, in my opinion, because Brutus Beefcake had played in the main event. He had feuds against main event stars. He'd had great matches against DiBiase, Macho Man, Mr. Perfect, all those guys. I actually, even early on, and back when he was still a heel with the Dream Team, he had a really good old school match, kind of a forgotten match against Hulk Hogan. And, so he had those. And so because of that, more crimes were committed against Ed Leslie in that situation. So the Booty Man moves on to the finals for me.
All right. I think Cairo just went to go fact check the Red Rooster Intercontinental Champion thing.
I let it go last time too.
All right, Jason. So we got one vote for the Booty Man. Who do you got in this matchup? Booty Man or who?
So I'll be completely honest. I'm completely thrown off by this matchup. The final four, I was almost for sure that we were going to have the Gooker versus Red Rooster and Mantar versus Bastion Booker. I like when I saw the bracket, I was like, that's who it's gonna be. So I'm like, who exactly? And Booty Man is like, I am really surprised that those two made it here. And I really, to be honest, I really don't know. See, like we've already established, who was. It's that one joke that they give to Jim Neidhart. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with the Booty Man. I almost said that. You know what? I wasn't even gonna pick. I was gonna bypass my pick. Because I didn't know. But the more I think about it and everything, I'm gonna go with the Booty Man because in the end, the Who was just that one joke, and they just put a mask on Jim Neidhart, and like Tyler was saying, from the last round, that maybe the Who was never meant to get over. They were just using him, throw a mask on him, and do some stupid joke. The Booty Man was just like, it was just dumb. It was like, are you just kind of throwing this gimmick together? And this previous, he used to be a barber and now he's a stripper or something, or what? So, well, no,
Right.
I know he went with WCW and everything with it, but yeah, okay, I'll go with Booty Man because it was just, I guess, silly. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, this was definitely a very tough decision for me because I was not expecting either of these to make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, I'm keeping the winners in my head, and I sure as hell hope that Who did beat Mantar. That's how I remember it. I hope that that's the case. I'll know when I do the post production if I messed up big here. When I do the post production, there's gonna be graphics on the screen and stuff. So, but anyway, so that's 2 votes for the Booty Man. Cairo, do you got the Booty Man or Who moving into the finals?
I'm gonna go with the Booty Man because the Who type gimmick, like I said earlier, has been proven that it can get over with the right guy, even though, Neidhart was set up as a jobber and all that stuff, but the gimmick itself, gimmick type of thing, mysterious, goofy, question mark type thing. Josephus got the question mark over, so I got to go with Booty Man because nobody's getting the Booty Man over. I mean, unless you count Billy Gunn, who
The Ass Man, yeah.
But he evolved into the Ass Man. He was bad.
He was already Mr. Ass.
Evolved into that. They just shoved the Booty Man right in your face, which, I mean,
Yeah, right.
Billy Gunn enjoyed ass when he was in the Smoking Guns, but he wasn't out in the forefront with it like he became later.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Booty Man on this one.
All right, so
Rockabilly
three votes for the Booty Man.
In the tournament, Rockabilly should be in the tournament.
Yeah, well, he might have a chance later,
Oh, no, I got one for you.
All right, we'll see who gets it. So I guess I'm the only one voting for Who in this round. Again, 2 very lame gimmicks, forgettable gimmicks. At least Booty Man, I could see that the crowd would like him and kind of, as like a guy in the middle of the card or a low card. I could see kids cheering for him. Who didn't have anything entertaining about him, and it was just a boring waste of space, really. And it's cool that they tried to protect Jim Neidhart with the gimmick, but it really didn't protect him because everybody knew who it was. Like, who else do you see, with that big gut with like the red pubes on it and stuff? So, I need to watch my language with the little one.
Oh, I got on headphones. You're good.
Okay. So the red fucking pubes, guys. So my vote is for Who, but shockingly, the Booty Man, who almost didn't even get into this tournament, is now a dark horse to win it because Booty Man's going to the finals. So we're set.
Oh my God. I had to look it up because I oh my God. This was terrible.
Did he just Google red pubes?
Not with his daughter sitting there.
He's got headphones on, Jason.
You know what? To be fair, I don't think she should be googling Booty Man with his daughter sitting there either.
I was gonna say, I think it's been a little bit too long since then. I'm sure there's a handful of websites that have different Booty Man that's gonna pop up.
No, I looked up Neidhart as Who.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, There's the only thing that was worse was Neidhart and High Energy with Owen Hart.
Really? I thought that was better than this.
Well, yeah, it's better than this, but
Now the pants were terrible. The pants were awful.
yeah, the pants were awful, but it was the 90s, so
I was like, the pants were as 90s as a guy, man. Like,
at least it wasn't Zubaz. So, all right, I'm done. Sorry.
No, you're good. So we have
Road Warriors and Zubaz, but nobody was going to say shit to him because they were the Road Warriors.
right.
That's a really, really cool zebra print you got going on there, Hawk. Don't kill me, please. Don't kill me.
I can hear him turning around going, well.
Sometimes you got to stripe it up. Now I'm going to go threaten to rape Ric Flair inside the War Games cage.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've had all the discussions about the tournament and about red pubes and rape, we are here and ready for the finals. There's two gimmicks that fought valiantly to get here, and this is going to be a clash for the ages as the Red Rooster faces off against the Booty Man. This will decide it all. Tyler?
So I am proud to say that when I looked at the bracket, I actually predicted this finals. I have a couple of buddies that are big wrestling fans, and I sent it to them. I said, if the way this bracket's lined up, if it's not the Booty Man versus the Red Rooster in these finals, something is wrong here, because these are the two biggest creative abortions in the history of wrestling. Like, it's not bad. But I got a question before I make my answer. Was the Booty Man after the Butcher?
Yes.
So where he turned on Hulk Hogan?
Yes.
Yeah, the Butcher came in 94.
This is the Babe Ruth of bad gimmicks. This is the Booty Man. This is Shaquille O'Neal playing for the Celtics. Like everything, man. This is Warren Moon for the Chiefs. Yeah, you didn't even know that happened. Neither did he.
I remember that. I was pretty happy that I liked Warren Moon. I was happy.
He was a shell of his form. He was a.
I mean, he was second string, but it was nice having Warren Moon over here. I liked him.
Okay, well, let me do. It was Elvis in 1970. Let me put it that way. Like he was just the highest paid Elvis impersonator at that point. The Booty Man is the worst thing that has ever happened in wrestling. Like I said, you took a guy. I've said it. I'm repeating myself, but a guy that was in the main event of things, and then you turned and tried to do what was the most logical thing to do. You turned him on his buddy, the biggest hero ever, Hulk Hogan. It didn't go over as good as they hoped, but it still was something that I think anybody would agree was a great idea to try. And then after that, so him and Hogan have a little feud and stuff like that, and he's going to help end Hulkamania. And then all of a sudden he's back with an even worse version of the 75% naked stripper Brutus Beefcake. It was like if there was a XXX adult gay film parodying Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and call him the Booty Man. And you can throw the hottest woman in the world next to him. That doesn't make him serious. It was a disgrace. And you took a guy who was pegged to win the Intercontinental title on two different occasions. Unfortunate due to injury, he didn't get either one. Former tag champ, great feuds. He was capable of putting on a great match. Terry Taylor was great at putting on a great match, but he never was at the level that Brutus Beefcake was. So a terrible gimmick hurting his career, it to me isn't as tragic as a terrible gimmick hurting a guy who was in the main event at one point. So I have to say the Booty Man is the absolute worst thing. I know the Red Rooster is the easy one to say, but I had to think about it a little deeper and say Booty Man, because you took a guy that was up here and you threw him down below where vegetables grow, man. It was awful. So Booty Man.
All right, one vote for the Booty Man. Jason?
So I don't actually remember Bruce Beefcake being in the main event unless he was tagging with Hogan in WWF. He
was actually. I'll actually say he was in the main event, and I covered this on one of my earlier podcasts. He was in the main event of the first WWF show I ever went to in St. Joe, Missouri, in 1988. He wrestled Hercules, but it was like a B show or a C show.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean that still counts. I that's part of why I don't remember that. But yeah, 88, 87, 88 is when I think I started watching that. But maybe it's just my memory, because I remember Hogan and Bam Bam and Andre and Ted DiBiase, Macho Man, and those guys being at the top. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, that my memories or whatever. But with all that said, I'm personally surprised the Booty Man made it this far. I really thought that was going to be Bastion Booger versus Gooker. And then once Gooker was out, I thought it was going to be Bastion Booger versus Red Rooster. So with Booty Man and Red Rooster here, I'm going to have to go with Rooster simply because, I can see, but after going through all this, I can see arguments for both sides. Because Beefcake, he was still a named guy, and they put this terrible gimmick on him. But he also went through. I don't even know if that was the company's idea or his idea, because he went through like a ton of gimmicks. And it makes me wonder if he was like, I have these ideas for gimmicks, and I really don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna pick Rooster. I'm picking Rooster on this one.
All right, split vote so far. Cairo.
With Jason saying that, I wonder when Brutus got to WCW if his gimmick was going through all these gimmicks. I'm really starting to wonder that, for real. But
wait, wasn't he at one point called the Man with No Name?
Yeah,
after the Disciple, right?
Was that after the Disciple?
Yeah,
when the Warrior turned him against Hogan, right?
Something like that.
When they had the Warrior, when he joined the Warrior in the One Warrior Nation, there were two people.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Which was NWO backwards. But yeah, because Brutus was I think he was past his prime by the time he got to WCW. I have to go with the Red Rooster because it totally crushed Terry Taylor's whole, his career. Any momentum he would have had, he lost it after that Red Rooster thing. So I gotta go with the Red Rooster.
All right, so we got two votes for the Rooster, one vote for the Booty Man. So when I look at this matchup, so in the landscape of the WWF in 1989, Brutus Beefcake was Hulk Hogan was the top babyface, no question, and the Ultimate Warrior was number 2. I would probably you could it really depended on the month. You could circulate Dusty, Jake the Snake, Beefcake, Hacksaw. It could have been any one of those guys, but they definitely could main event secondary shows, the towns that Hulk Hogan wasn't in, or maybe the towns that the Ultimate Warrior wasn't in. So he was very popular. Usually the Hogan thing helped him a lot. I remember watching in '94 when he debuted, and it felt like such a setback to see all these old WWF guys coming to WCW following Hogan. So there was no part of Beefcake in WCW that I enjoyed. But as a kid, I liked the gimmick and liked the music. And the Dream Team had some good matches with the Bulldogs and the Rougeos and stuff like that. So I do think he's the level of star that Tyler's saying. I also think he was past his prime, like Cairo is saying, by the time he got a lot of these bad gimmicks. He was a bigger star than Terry Taylor on a national basis. Terry Taylor was a big star in Mid-South, but in the big companies, he never really got pushed past the mid-card, even though he had the ability to do more. But when I compare the two, again, Booty Man was kind of a lame idea for a gimmick that made no sense and didn't have a lot of direction. But for me, it again committed less crimes in that his career was already on the downside. Terry Taylor, I considered a much better in-ring wrestler that could have been used much better, and it killed him dead. So I have to vote for the Red Rooster in this, which means that we have a winner, and the winner of the worst gimmick in WCW or WWEF history is
Bank.
Wait a minute.
Let me say it. You gotta wait till I say it and then chime in again.
All right.
The winner of the worst gimmick in history is the Red Rooster.
Bank.
Oh, what happened, Cairo?
I said I'm gonna let Tyler have it.
Okay.
It's Smasher Shannon Reed.
I thought it was going to be like a photo finish. And all right, so the Red Rooster just won the tournament. But Tyler, it looks like you're ready to cash in.
No, mine was genuinely a joke. I was saying the Bully Smasher.
Oh.
I don't know. The Bullet Smasher, he's a champion. He's a title winner.
I don't think mine's good enough. I'm letting Cairo do it. Cairo looked like he felt
Go, Cairo.
I don't know if mine's good enough. So
The Repo Man.
all right,
Repo Man.
Better. No, I'm kidding.
That gimmick was terrible from the jump. The Repo Man.
All right, so
It was either that or the Toxic Turtles.
So Cairo, give us your pitch to start off for the Repo Man, and then we'll go counterclockwise.
Okay, good. It's solely based on the fact it's Barry Dorso, number one. Okay, you talking about? He was Smash, yeah.
Yeah, Smash.
He was Smash from Demolition, which is like the coolest theme music ever. Demolition's theme was the coolest. I'd put it up there with Austin's. It was that cool. Cool gimmick, even though some people think it was a Road Warriors knockoff. But the Repo Man, you had big, strong Barry Dorso creeping around with a rope with tire marks on his tights. And that little raccoon mask. It was so bad. It was terrible. It was worse than the Toxic Turtles, which was just trying to draw in people because of Ninja Turtles. But the Repo Man, really, it was terrible. It was terrible.
But do you vote for it to be worse than the Red Rooster?
No, I just wanted to say Repo Man because I felt Red Rooster is the most terrible gimmick ever. It ruined a career. It ruined a career that could have been great. It could have been Terry Taylor could have been a great mid-carder, put in the WWE Hall of Fame, could have had a great career in WWE had he not gotten that gimmick. And that gimmick just kind of ruined his career. I mean, yeah, he did get to work as a producer and work on and put matches together and stuff like that, but I don't think we really got to see the Terry Taylor that Terry Taylor envisioned in the WWE. I said Repo Man I really feel like it was a bad gimmick, but it wasn't near as bad as Red Rooster, but I needed something. That's what I was going with because I hated Repo Man. It was terrible.
All right. So we got one vote for the Red Rooster then. Jason, Repo Man or the Red Rooster?
Yeah, I'll go with the Rooster. Rooster's still worse. But yeah, I remember the Repo Man just like he looked like something straight out of a cartoon. You know, now if you think about it, you can compare him to was that Swiper from Dora the Explorer?
Yeah,
but it's like
yeah. And the sad part is
Repo Man, no swiping.
The sad part is Repo people. Is that PC? Is it Repo people aren't bad
Repossession
people.
employees?
Yeah, repossession employees are not bad people. They show up because you didn't pay your bill. Like you're the bad guy if the Repo Man.
They make him look like a burglar.
Yeah,
like he's gonna steal something.
Yeah, I've never seen a Repo Man creeping around like that. They just roll up and take your stuff. Like he's a Repo Man, but he was walking around like a robber. He had tire marks all over his tights and wore the trench coat. Remember that old ratty looking trench coat and the mask and stuff. And he wrestled in that crap, and it was bad. It was terrible.
All right, 2 votes for the Rooster. Tyler?
Yeah, I can't justify it. The Rooster should clean sweep this. I thought the Repo Man was funny. Like, I thought he had a good catch line. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine too. You know, like that kind of thing. He actually went at some big name guys. Like he had a good feud with the Boss Man, Macho Man, you know, stuff like that. So like, dude had the balls to steal Macho Man's hat, man.
That's because it was Barry Dorso. It's not because he was a Repo Man. It's because he was Barry Dorso.
But like he was, it was at least funny, and to me, it's another job gimmick. You know, like these, you know, there's a trash man, there's a plumber, there's this guy or that guy. You know, why not throw a Repo Man? We got a cop, we got a criminal. Let's get a Repo Man in there too while we're at it. So to me, to me, he just blends in with everybody else to me. So he wasn't that bad. Like mine, I wish I would have chimed in with was going to be the same reason, kind of the opposite reason why we were so mad at the Gobbledygooker, because we're going to put a Guerrero in there, and you know,
you're going to say Kerwin White, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm exactly going to say Kerwin White.
That was going to be my pick too. I was thinking about Stefan. Kerwin White was going to be my pick.
That was going to be mine because like we're mad because they took a Guerrero and didn't use him to his abilities, the Gooker. But we're going to take an already established Guerrero and have him take a shit on the Guerrero name, basically.
Yeah.
Like so, it's like whatever. I mean, next thing you know. When they finally take it off, you know, because, you know, Eddie dies, so they, you know, just have him go back to being Chavo. Next thing you know, 2 months later, he's getting, you know, Death Valley drivered by Hornswoggle. So, yeah. But I wish I would have chimed in. I felt like I could have made that one maybe work, but now the Rooster.
Because when I was picking, I was saying, you know, Kerwin White was my pick too. I was going to chime in with Kerwin White. Because I'm a big Chavo fan. I've met him a couple times, and he is like one of the. I met him as a fan once. I met him as a worker once, and he treated me great both times. You know, and there's I'll tell you just from being in the business, there are some people, some workers, if they see you as a fan, they'll treat you differently than the way they see you as a worker. Just whether good or bad, either way, you know, it doesn't matter. They'll just treat you different. Chavo, both times I met him as a fan and as a worker, he treated me exactly the same with a lot of respect, and I've been a big fan of Chavo. So that when we're talking about Kerwin White, that goes back to the wrestlers that I like Mosh, and they put Beaver Cleavage up there. They're taking a wrestler that I really, really liked to put him with a horrible gimmick. Although he made it work for the time that he did it, he did make it work, and it was a little bit funny though. Still a terrible gimmick.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It was pretty bad.
I wasn't even really watching WWE in that era, and when you said the name, like it didn't ring a bell at all. But then I remembered I saw something recently, like some vignettes. Didn't he do like the sweater thing, like Richard Norman?
Yeah.
The whole thing, I'm Kerwin White. If you ain't white, you ain't right. You know, like no, that was the gimmick.
That was it. Yeah,
that was his catchline. I know, because his whole thing was he thought like Eddie was so popular because of, you know, the Mexican heritage and the Hispanic, you know, fan base and all that stuff, that it was actually holding him back. So he was embracing his whiteness. And I'm like,
gotcha.
We're going there, huh? All right.
And he drove to the ring at a golf club like he was a member of like a country club and everything. He wore
Who was his caddy?
The golf gloves. Huh?
Who was his caddy?
Yeah, caddy.
He had a caddy.
I don't remember that.
I can't remember who it was though.
Dolph Ziggler.
Was it really? Yep. I didn't know that. That was pre-Spirit Squad, wasn't it?
Yep. I mean, his name was Dolph Ziggler. I can't remember what his name was.
Yeah.
He was Nikki.
Probably.
He was Nikki when he was in the Spirit Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Dolph was.
I mean, based upon the gimmick, his name could have very easily been Adolf for all we know. I was like, Vince has no field. Like he really does have balls the size of grapefruit. He's going to try to get this. All right, good luck, buddy.
All right, so I'm going to give my vote Repo Man against the Red Rooster. I mean, so far we've had a unanimous vote for the Red Rooster. So Repo Man, Julius, something you said about Demolition. Initially, yeah, everyone saw them as copycats of the Road Warriors, but I feel they did a really good job getting their own identity. They were really popular. There was, you know, I liked the Rockers and the Hart Foundation more than Demolition, but I liked Demolition. But Demolition was, to me, their most popular tag team, and they were the top tag team at the time. And one of the biggest pops I remember is when they beat the Colossal Connection at WrestleMania 6 to regain the belts. Repo Man, I did consider him for the tournament. The reason I didn't select him is I just think that was a entertaining gimmick, like the entrance music, and it for a guy like Barry Darsow that had been around for years and Demolition had already had their run. I thought it was an entertaining gimmick as far as what WWE was doing. I think it was more entertaining than stuff like TL Hopper or Who and all of those kind of things, Bastion Booger. The entrance music was kind of funny. So obviously I'm going to pick the Red Rooster, and that means that the Red Rooster is the worst gimmick in the history of wrestling.
Yay.
Yay.
I don't know.
Sorry, Taylor.
What does he win?
I hope
A trip to Cairo.
Terry Taylor doesn't actually watch this, because I feel like it's going to do the same thing it did to Rob Pilatus and the Milli Vanilli behind the music. Like, he was dead.
Yeah.
Like,
I think he knows. I think he's accepted it, and I think Terry Taylor is just like, yeah, it's like, I don't know.
I'll tell you.
How out of all the people they got, how did he not come back for the gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania 17?
He may not have been
Right.
able to. I don't know what kind of shape he's in.
He was because that was in 2001-ish, and he was still wrestling.
Yeah, that was like
years after that on Independence.
That was a couple weeks after the sale of WCW. So I mean, like, they owned everybody there at the time. So
I will say this about Terry Taylor: like, even though he didn't get the in-ring push that he deserved, that dude has remained employed for decades. Like, he was, even after his, like, when he slowed down wrestling in the early 90s, he was a booker during the Nitro era. You know, when Kevin Sullivan was booking, Terry Taylor was also a booker, and he would pop in and out between WWE and TNA, and now back with WWE. So he's always been someone that's not gone too long without being employed, and that's always a good thing.
I always liked when they tried to make him briefly a commentator. They did it very brief. Like, it was around the same time that Mr. Perfect was hurt, and he was a commentator too. So they had Vince. I remember there was only one time that I remember Vince Perfect and Terry Taylor, and I think Perfect took a jab at him, something like, he's like, "Oh yeah, where'd you hatch that idea up?"
I remember he was like an interviewer at the King of the Ring in '93. He just showed up and like, here's Terry Taylor interviewing, the Smoking Guns or whoever it was. So
now that's a tournament I wish they would bring back, like the way they were doing it back then. That's a King of the Ring tournament is awesome when it's done like that.
And if they would have had it also, like, in the past 10 years, the people that they've had win it have it mean something. Like, when Brock Lesnar won it, he wasn't going to wear the crown and the robe and everything. You were never going to put, but he got a title match for winning it. So I mean, do something like that. Like, they've missed the boat when they put it on Sheamus and Wade Barrett and people like that.
There's your Cesaro push right there. There it is right there. I don't think he's ever been I don't think he's ever even been in the King of the Ring tournament. Like, I don't think he's been in it. And, I'm just, maybe this is just me being a Dusty fan, but tournaments is how you make stars, man. It's how you make stars. It's an easy way to make stars. I'll say it like that. And yeah, but I say that because I'm a fan. I'm a Cesaro fanboy, but I mean,
tournaments and gauntlets. There's something about being able to win multiple things. I mean, it's how Kofi Mania started a couple years ago. He ran the gauntlet and put on the showing of the night, and people went crazy for it. And that was never even supposed to be him. Like, if Mustafa Ali doesn't get hurt, we don't have Kofi Mania.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We've determined that the Red Rooster is the worst gimmick in professional wrestling history. It was really fun talking to you guys. I look forward to having all of you on here again sometime if you want to come back on.
Of course.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got to do
definitely.
this. This is fun.
Awesome. So thanks everybody for tuning in. So make sure you stay tuned. More coming from the Read This with Shannon Reed podcast.
Yeah.